Brilliant. So welcome everyone. We're delighted to feature England again. Like as everyone knows, we do a lot of Ireland and Scotland and we do a lot of England, but sometimes we find we don't feature them as much in the webinars. So we have two of the Red Carnation properties. We have the Milestone that everyone loves in London, and we have the GM Andrew Pike with us. And then Anthony will be introducing as well, I think it's Juliana, is it, from the Guernsey hotel that belongs to the Red Carnation property as well. And then we also have one Aldwych on, another London property. And we'll be introducing a lot of our advisors to Estelle Manor because it's new to the market just this year. And it's a Gleneagles property, so you all know Ashley, but we've been having a lot of, interest in it. So it'd be great to talk to Ashley, and also for the potential of takeovers as well, I think, but Ashley will tell you about that. And then last but not least, we have our own Linda Hugo, who's going to tell you about the wonderful experiences that can be created in London and the greater London area. And these are very much bespoke experiences that you won't find elsewhere, and are for the clients who are perhaps a little better heeled than the average traveler, but fantastic experiences, and especially for special occasions, or anniversaries, etc. So Gio, we're starting, I think, with Andrew and Anthony, isn't it, at the Milestone?
Correct. I'll get hi Anthony. If you want
Hello,
to say
everybody.
a little hello.
Hi. Thank you again, Siobhan and Gio, for having us today. And yes, as mentioned, we're presenting two of our fabulous properties. I'm going to quickly share my screen for the Milestone Hotel and Residences, probably in one of London's finest address, which is Kensington, opposite Kensington Palace. And then we will hop over to the island of Guernsey, which I'm really excited for all of you to learn about, because it's truly, having been there a few times, it's truly a magical place that's often overlooked. But before we can hand over to Mr. Pike, our wonderful GM, I have a little video to show you.
Gio, is there sound to that video?
Yeah, not
There's
getting any
no
volume there.
sound, Anthony. I think you need to click on share sound, or before you share your screen, optimize video and sound. So if you unshare and then share again.
Yes. Apologies.
Right.
Got it.
Yep.
There you go. Perfect.
Here we go. Mr. and Mrs. Simmons are returning for a 2-night
sorry.
stay. This is a very special stay. They're celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary. We've got a dinner booked for them tonight at 7 p.m. Leo's ensured they have their preferred table tonight.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Simmons, we are delighted to welcome you back to the Milestone Hotel.
And you finally found an excuse. Love says come here, and a voice in your ear whispers new words. Love hunts you down till you're pinned to the ground, it's no use. Easy to fall for its charms when you're lying there in those arms. Love comes along without warning, you're bound for a crash. Wait for the...
I need a gluten-free picnic for Mr. and Mrs. Lacey in the park at 3 o'clock.
Can't escape from its clutch, and all it can take is a touch for you to be chained like a pawn in the game. What a rush! But after the thrill of its died, only the chill lives inside.
Good morning, Mrs. Simmons. Welcome back to the Milestone Hotel.
You can't hide.
Welcome back to the Milestone.
No, you can't hide. You
I love that.
That's amazing, Anthony. It's fantastic. Yeah.
It really shows a different side that you often don't see about the hotel. Well, without further ado, let me pass on to Mr. Pike, who will give you a little bit of an update on his wonderful hotel.
Thank you, Anthony. I've watched that video a few times now, as you can imagine, and I still enjoy it. It took us 3 days to make that video that ended up being a couple of minutes long. What we wanted to do was basically we wanted to not just show beautiful bedrooms, because many places have got beautiful bedrooms. We wanted to show a little bit of the passion and enthusiasm that goes on to the behind the scenes, getting ready for these guests to arrive. So hope you enjoyed it. Little quick update on the Milestone. Number one most exciting news is that 3 days ago we opened our brand new stables bar. And the stables bar has always been the heart of the Milestone. And it's where we like everybody to spend at least 1 or 2 evenings of their stay with us. So the project took about 11 weeks, nearly 12 weeks. What we've done is we've kept the original heritage of what was the stables of the house and has always been known as Stables Bar, but we wanted to make it super deluxe, a little bit kind of moody. And so the colors are dark, subdued, but I have to say that the quality of what's been achieved is amazing. And it's really kind of 4 spaces in one. So you've got the original bar, but that's been expanded into the conservatory. We can actually have 2 cocktail bartenders working back to back because it's a double bar, like a mirror bar. And we've also got a little secret space that we call the hideaway. And the hideaway, which used to be a ground floor bedroom, opens out onto the main bar. And that area can accommodate maybe a little group of 10 to 12 for private cocktail reception. There's also a TV hidden away in the ceiling that drops down if it's a special event going on. So we think that the Stables Bar is going to add another dimension to what we provide for our guests. The focus is really on the drinks, the cocktails, the champagnes, the wines by the glass. And you can have some very expensive wines by the glass there. And to go with that, some little small dishes, smaller plates. So it's a different experience to sitting down in Cheniston's and having the formal dining. This is more little courses, little plates that you can enjoy whilst you sip on your cocktail. So Stables Bar is open. We're doing the photography. We're going to record a video in there in the next couple of weeks, and we will share that new footage as soon as we've got it with all our friends at Adams and Butler. So we're excited about that. What else have we been doing in the last few months? We've taken another 7 guest rooms. We've put brand new bathrooms in with walk-in showers, because that's what I get the most requests from American guests are walk-in showers. So we're excited. And I have to say the quality of these bathrooms is the very, very best. A couple of new experiences I want to just share. One is that we've have a lovely lady called Shelley Levy. Shelley is a portrait artist, and she's based at the Milestone, but she also does work with our sister property, the Edgerton House in Knightsbridge. And Shelley does these incredible portraits. So she will sit in the bar whilst guests are enjoying their cocktail or while having afternoon tea maybe, and she'll do a beautiful portrait of them. She'll sketch it and she'll color it in separately. And these portraits can be sent to the guests back in the US. She started working with us to celebrate the coronation of King Charles last May. And the picture she took of the hotel is in the front concierge desk. But we've had a lot of guests enjoying the cocktail while Shelley sketches and does their portrait. New to the hotel is a most amazing spa therapist whose name is Josie Jenkinson. And as well as all the usual kind of massage and treatments you'd expect to get in a good hotel, some of Josie's specialty treatments include harmonic healing. So she's got these amazing singing bowl technique that she does. So very, very peaceful, very, very relaxing, non-invasive, non-intrusive. And if ever you wanted to have a treatment that gets you a good night's sleep, that would be Josie Jenkinson and her harmonic healing. I have to be careful how I say that.
Andrew, I have to ask you, have you gone for the treatment and have you had your portrait done?
Unfortunately, Shelley took one look at me and said that there was only so much she could do, Siobhan, and But I've got an open opportunity to experience, I think, every one of Josie's treatments. So I'm just spoilt for choice. My worry is that I'll get so relaxed down there, I might just go to sleep, you know. But another great partner who you're going to hear from shortly is the lovely Linda Hugo. Beyond Curated, we've been working with for several years now, and I'm certainly not going to steal Linda's thunder, but only to say that she's an amazing partner, and the access she has to the very highest level bespoke experiences for guests is second to none. So you need to know we already enjoy working with Linda on property
And
here.
we actually had a fan from Travel Edge in their top producers. It was about a few months ago, but it was interesting because it was the first time that they'd experienced some of the, Linda's, what she does in London, and they were blown away. So it's lovely that, we have to make sure that more clients added to their list and that the advisors can upsell because it's something that they'll really enjoy.
Really so, and it's really bespoke. And but yeah, so Linda and others. So what we've done is over the past 2-3 years, we've been working at getting these amazing partners like Linda outside the property, and then Josie and Shelley on property. And so if you add all of that to our brand new Stables bar, where the cocktails are seriously good, plus already our focus on the most personal, highest level of genuine hospitality that you would have picked up from that video. This is really why people come to stay at the Milestone in Kensington. That and it's a great location opposite the Palace. It's not too shabby, as they say.
Brilliant. And do you ever remember the very first time we met and we jumped in the black cab and we did a whirlwind tour? Like, I don't know how many years ago that was. It was more than 10, I think.
It was a few. I was a lot older than you still, Siobhan, though.
But that was fun. I remember we just did this whistle top tour of all the properties. So thank you very much, Andrew. Great to see you again. Will you be in Virtuoso?
I will be. I think it's going to be my 17th. Somebody said you get a special prize when you've done 20, so I'm only 3 years away.
I don't think that's true because I've done 20 and I haven't got a special prize. No, actually, this is my 20th.
Then maybe this could be it.
20th. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, thanks a million. So, Gio, I'm a tiny bit confused. Should we go over to One Aldwych with Alex, or should we go over to Guernsey and Governor House?
I think we were gonna. Up to you, Anthony. Actually, do you want to go to Guernsey first?
We can, if you're happy with that, everybody.
Yeah. Go first.
Okay. Well, there you go. Hello again, everyone. We are going to an island which I honestly feel very strongly about because I often find it's overlooked, and I'm so pleased that that Siobhan and Gio called us and said, hey, listen, we'd love for you to feature Old Government House to our audience. So without any hesitation, I am delighted to introduce you to Andrew Chantrell, the general manager of the Old Government House, and our lovely director of sales for Guernsey, Gillian Mabbott.
Okay, sorry, can I stop you there just for 1 second? Can you explain to people where Guernsey is and where the Channel Islands are? Because not everyone might know. And also people should bear in mind for shore excursions as well, that it's a popular area. But can you explain where exactly it is?
Absolutely.
Do you have the video there as an intro?
Actually, that's going to probably answer a lot of questions. And of course, Gillian, who lives in the islands, as well as Andrew, I'm sure they'll enlighten us as well. So let me play the video. Sorry, I think I did. Here we go.
The islands of Guernsey. There's nothing to shout about here.
Hashtag food envy. Wow. Not a chance of that on these islands.
With all the hustle and bustle, you can't even hear a tweet. Getting around the islands? It's standing room only here.
It's bumper to bumper with traffic. And popping over to the neighbours can be complete gridlock.
You won't get many followers on the islands, but I've managed to find one. Our island climate means we get drenched every day.
Life's so busy, it's hard to disconnect.
The island's beaches tend to be completely overcrowded.
Oh, and there's certainly nothing to see or do at night.
Don't worry, you're not missing a thing. Honest.
So good afternoon. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I hope the video gives you a little bit of an indication of what's awaiting our guests in the Channel Islands. But over to you, Jill and Andrew.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the islands of Guernsey. We are on our government, we're on the governor's terrace at the moment, our governor's suite, and we are overlooking Castle Cornet and the islands. I'm really glad that the little video shows the islands of Guernsey, as you get a lot more for your money when you come to visit us. We are accessible from most UK airports, and also from the UK ferry terminals as well, for those who want to join us from the sea. But you'll see in that short video, within our 24 square miles, we can pack in a lot of activity, or you can have as relaxed a trip as you like. Today, we are a balmy 18 degrees. I'm delighted to share that I am a sea swimmer. I love being out in that water. I will be there in half an hour. And the sea temperature is 14.5 degrees. So
Jill, can I ask you a question? What's the best way to get to Guernsey? If people are coming in and they're doing their trip in London, where do you fly from in London, or should you take a ferry? Or, a lot of our clients wouldn't hire a car. So how do you suggest they get to yourselves?
Yeah, well, we have daily flights from Gatwick, and we also have the opportunity to fly from Stansted and London City. And the ferry terminals are more Portsmouth and Poole. The options. So I would say for guests who are spending a few days in London and would like to join us, then Gatwick probably offers the better option.
Fantastic. Or they can go, if they have a driver guide who's driving them throughout England, they can go over in the ferry with the driver guide. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So so you'll see we offer lots to do in the sea, and we are all about our guest experiences as well. So we have a lot of guides who can take our guests around the island. We have a very, very popular sunset fish and chips experience, which is our driver will take our guests along the west coast with a guided tour, and he'll pop them on the beach with some lovely lamps and deck chairs and some chef's nibbles, and then nip off and get them some fish and chips while they enjoy their fish and chips with champagne and the sunset. So that's one of our really popular experiences. We have 30 bays around the island, so we feel very different to mainland UK. We're actually a little bit closer to France, which is why we have that. It just feels a little bit slightly warmer, and I always say the sun shines a little bit brighter, because guests do really truly feel as though they're on holiday, which is lovely. We have a little bit more of a relaxed lifestyle as well. I talk about my work beach life balance, which when I'm on calls people laugh at, but it is 100% true. The sun actually rises just behind the island behind us, the island of Herm, and that is such a beautiful experience. I actually swam out to one of the rocks and watched the sun come up behind Herm on Friday morning, and that is such a wonderful experience. And we do have guides that will take kayaks and guests out to have that experience as well. We're surrounded by beautiful cliffs, so there are cliff walks for all activities as well. And while we're talking about the Old Government House Hotel today, we do actually have two hotels in Guernsey, and we're both in St Peter Port, which is the main parish. We talk about parishes rather than towns. St Peter Port is the main parish. We have two hotels that are either side of some beautiful gardens and the Candy Museum. And recently we celebrated 60 years of the Beatles playing in Guernsey with an afternoon tea at one of our properties. One of the other packages that we're offering at the moment is a history and heritage package. We are seeing a lot of interest with the 80th anniversary of D-Day this year, and also the 80th anniversary of Liberation Day, which will be next year. The Second World War is a massive part of the Channel Islands. The Channel Islands were occupied in that time. And I'd like to introduce Andrew Chantrell, our general manager, who loves talking about hotel history. It's a specialist subject.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jill. And it's a real honour for us to be able to share this evening with you. And as Jill said, to be able to present from our terrace here on such a gorgeous evening when you can get a real view of the islands. As Jill said, we are closer to France. We're only 20 miles away as the crow flies from France. If it wasn't quite as hazy out there, you would just be able to see the French coast on the horizon behind Herman Sark. So we are really well protected, and even on a windier day, we're beautifully protected here in St. Peter Port, because we're protected from Jersey and the French coast as well. As Jill mentioned,
Andrew, can I ask you a question there? We have a lot of American clients who like doing the Normandy beaches. So is it something they can tie in with the trip to Guernsey?
Definitely, definitely, because our own Second World War history is phenomenal. We were the Channel Islands, Guernsey, Jersey, Alderney, Herman Sark, were the only parts of the British Isles that were occupied during the Second World War. So we've got a phenomenal history. There's over 1,000 World War II sites in Guernsey that are to do with the occupation of the Second World War. The ferry that Jill mentioned that you can catch from the UK is just 2 hours to St. Malo on a direct route. So whilst that's Brittany, it's right in the north of Brittany. So you're only an hour and a half's drive up the beautiful Normandy, up the coast there, past Mont Saint-Michel. St. Malo in its own right is a beautiful walled city with amazing history. So for guests that are wanting to explore that Second World War history, the Normandy beaches, we are the perfect stopping off point to do a couple of nights here in Guernsey before then going on to France and then up that peninsula there to Normandy and the Normandy beaches. So it is a phenomenal opportunity, and I think it's one that we've never really been able to really work as hard as we would like to. And I think with the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings just passed, we've got our own 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Channel Islands in 2025 next year. May the 9th is our Liberation Day, the day when the Allied forces liberated Guernsey and Jersey from German occupation. The hotel here, we date back to 1770 when the property was first built as a private house. It was then bought by the Guernsey government in 1796 to become Government House. So the residence of the Lieutenant Governor, so the representative of the British Crown in the Channel Islands, and it remained Government House until 1856 when it was bought by a family who converted it to a hotel. And we opened as a hotel in 1858. So we ourselves have a phenomenal history and heritage of hospitality in our own four walls. During the occupation, the Second World War, the hotel, like many properties, businesses, was taken over by the Germans, and it became a Soldatenheim, which translates to soldier's home, and effectively carried on operating as a hotel, but just for the German forces. One of our rooms is called the Doyle Room, named after one of the Lieutenant Generals.
Sorry, just to interrupt you, Siobhan, we do have direct flights from Dublin 3 times a week now.
Sorry, do you? Because there's a few questions coming in. Who's it with? Because Aer Lingus and Ryanair are saying no.
No, Aurigny. It's with Guernsey's airline, Aurigny. So we can send you the details of those. But right now, the flights are increased to 3 times a week due to its popularity.
Fantastic. And then one other thing is people are asking how long the ferry from Portsmouth or Bournemouth.
So Poole to Guernsey is 3 hours. And you can go as a foot passenger. So you mentioned earlier about driver guides. Driver guide can take them to Poole. We have personal guides here in Guernsey that we work with that do those private viewings of a number of the historical sites. So they could have a guide that stayed with them in Guernsey and took them into France, or they could come as a foot passenger or fly, and we could help with a guide here who would then be able to help with onward travel to France as well. So we can work with you to personalize the itinerary depending on what your client is looking for specifically themselves.
Fantastic. Okay.
And I think, as we were saying about experiences, whether it is the history aspect, whether it is the nature with the cliff walks, we work with a guide who specifically works on biodiversity in Guernsey. So to explore the nature of the islands and the history of biodiversity in the islands. We've got the cliff walks that Jill mentioned, the sea swimming, and for people looking for a bit more activity, we can do coast steering and kayaking and boat trips. You saw the rib in the video there. So anybody that wants a little bit more adrenaline pumping activities, they can do that, or they can just come and relax here in the gardens, enjoy the spa in the hotel, or a nice drink in one of the bars.
Fantastic. And do we get to see the hotel?
We can certainly share a presentation, but if we turn, you can see part of the property. If I if this works without I throw the laptop over the I don't know whether can you see the garden there and part of the hotel there. So and the swimming pool down here, if you can see that. And then you can see how close we are to the town. That's the way down into the town, if you can get a view of that as well.
Oh no, it looks fantastic. It looks really, really beautiful. Actually, it looks like Dalkey Island, Dalkey Village in Dublin. That type of beautiful coastal village. It's nice.
Yeah, and I think that you've got a real mix here within the town, St. Peter Port. You've got a little bit more nightlife. It's a little bit more cosmopolitan, as Jill said, with that sort of French influence in it. But then you've also got the actual interior of the island, which is very relaxing and peaceful, where you can properly unwind.
You also won't find any McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut. There's no fast food restaurants available in Guernsey. It's all individual restaurants, lots of local produce, gorgeous seafood. And it's the same with shopping. You won't find, we've got a Marks and Spencer's and a Next, a couple of high street names, but it's real individual boutiques. And guests really enjoy the shopping experience. Guernsey has really kept its charm with cobbled streets. And I saw Anthony mention the French names as well. It really has, the whole of the island has kept its charm. And so shopping and dining is a really lovely experience, and all in walking distance from the hotel.
People, when you think of the Channel Islands, people are often more familiar with Jersey. It's the larger of the islands, but Jersey has become much more commercial, whereas Guernsey has retained that real sort of charm of how England was perhaps 40 years, 50 years ago.
Fantastic. And then just one other thing I wanted to ask was, oh my God. Oh yeah, all year, like for people, we get a lot of clients who look for, something to do off season. I would have thought with your weather that is quite mild in comparison, that you probably have good all year round business. Is that true?
Yeah, the shoulder months, October, from sort of October, November really through until March, then that's still our winter, and it can be cold. It is a bit bleaker than the summer months, obviously, but it is definitely still a good time to come. And there are a number of the historical sites that are still operating and are still accessible. Our guides work all year round, regardless. So there is still plenty to see and do, depending on the time of year you come, as much as there is in the summer. I think the best times is always going to be April through until October, but clearly sort of November to March, there are certainly opportunities in those months as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, both of you, Andrew and Jill. So
there's a question there. Any golf in the island?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. We've got 2 golf courses with a third one that's being developed from a 9-hole to an 18-hole, which is over on the west coast. So we've got 2 already great golf courses, one on the coast in the north, one in the interior of the island, and a third one that are due to open late next year.
Great. So
brilliant. Thank you very, very much. And actually, Alex from One Aldwych, you're just saying it's a beautiful hotel. So over to you, Alex, now. Thank you very much, Andrew and Jill. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hi, Siobhan. I'm very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for working with us and looking after our clients all the time.
Not at all. It's a pleasure, and it's a real joy to be here this evening. I have to just apologise. I do have a bit of a cold, so if I sound a bit husky, it's
or a bit sexy.
So I actually have a lovely video which really encompasses everything about the hotel. So Gio, am I playing that, or will you do that?
I have it here. I have it ready. I'll
fabulous.
Start now.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, Gio. So, yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed that.
That
It really
almost covered everything. What have you got to say?
I know. Well, so much really. I mean, the location speaks for itself. Honestly, we're in one of the best parts of London for culture, theatre, and shopping and restaurants, Siobhan. But I think one of the key things to mention is that we are privately owned by a British family and completely independent, which there's not many of us left in London these days. And not only that, we really welcome families in turn, and we have so many connecting options with which enables us to connect all those lovely suites you saw with other rooms, so we can connect up to 4 suites together for a larger group. So for families, the afternoon tea is one of the most amazing experiences. We actually partner with Roald Dahl and the foundation for the tea, so it's exclusively for us and our guests, so that's a lot of fun. And then of course, we have to share that we completely renovated the hotel in 2019. So we are really brand new, because obviously we had the COVID in between. So I am available for any questions after this, of course. But I hope that really resonates with everyone.
And I know from our point of view, like you're very easy to work with, because I know Richard is obsessed with yourselves at the moment. So
Thank you,
very easy
Richard.
to work with.
Yeah,
no,
no.
it's amazing, because what we always try and showcase here in the webinars as well is people that are easy for us to work with, because it means that if something, it means you can do a last minute booking. It means you can, we have a very good preferred relationship with Carnation, and now with yourselves as well. It's good that there's options, that there's people who understand where we're coming from, and we all just are focusing on making the client happy, and room types and everything. So thank you for everything. But just another shout out to an amazing property in London, which is great.
Thank you. Yeah, no, you're a joy to work with, Siobhan and Richard and team. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So we're going now over to, is it Linda next? Gio, I sound really as if I know what I'm doing, don't I?
Yeah, we'll go with Linda. Hi, Linda.
And then we're over to Ashley of Estelle Manor, one of the new Gleneagles properties. Hi, Linda. How are you? Long time no see.
Hey, hello. So good afternoon, good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Great to see a few familiar faces, and thank you very much to Andrew Pike for those lovely comments. Yes, it's been a pleasure to work with Red Carnation Hotels, in particular the Milestone, and of course with Adams and Butler, to offer very unique private heritage experiences within London and beyond. So I'm happy to share the brochure that we have, but I believe everyone will be receiving that as well. So you'll see a selection of the experiences that are available on there, which are very much kind of provide an outline of what we offer. But the core thing to remember is that everything is incredibly bespoke and individually tailored. And I guess the main purpose of everything that we do is to inspire and uplift, and to give the guests a real sense that they're being incredibly well looked after, because all the experiences are personally hosted by myself. So I'm there to ensure that the journey is flawless and filled with as many surprise and delights as is possible. And often those things can only happen in the moment, when you're there with the guests, taking care of them and making it happen, making the magic happen.
Linda, can I ask you something? As well as giving us examples of what you can do, can you also tell us what you need us to find out about the clients? Because you can only do the perfect experience if you have a detailed brief on the client. So what do advisors need to give us before we contact you as well?
Absolutely. I mean, ideally, it's great to know as much about the clients as possible, in particular, what their passions are, what their dream list is of things that they want to see in London. Increasingly, what we're offering is more kind of hidden gems and off the beaten track types of experiences. So our experiences are a really good fit for visitors who have been to London a number of times, but now they want to do a little bit of a deeper dive, and they want to get access to places and to people and to experiences that are really, really hard to actually find. So it's good to know. It's good to know whether they're into history, art, cars, horses, royalty, anything like that is really good. So the core kind of offering of the private experiences that we do are really focused around royalty, Churchill, Winston Churchill, James Bond, always an incredibly popular theme, and increasingly art experiences. So there are signature offerings around those. Of course, we do the palace visits, and those will always be private pre-opening visits, which are very special and unique. And then it's a matter of incorporating a number of elements that are really hard to find to elevate the journey. So we'll add to that a beautiful royal classic limousine, for example, a classic Rolls-Royce Phantom we used recently. And the guests were driven around London in that. They did a little bit of a driving tour in this gorgeous royal car with royal provenance, and they absolutely felt like royalty in the process. Then we can also include things like a royal photographer who's worked extensively with the late Queen, sees the King on almost a weekly basis, and new Princess Diana as well, and worked with her. So he has the most fantastic stories to share. And again, that's what it's all about. It's all about the storytelling. So we really focus on that, and then introducing these amazing people who can just, give guests those goosebump moments with those stories. You sort of see the guests' eyes like turning to saucers because, they feel that they're being fully immersed in this amazing journey. So yeah, so the core experiences are there, but it's the embellishments, it's the additional surprise and delight. And please do have a look in the brochure. You'll notice that there are additional elements and additional experiences that can be added. So just as an example, I mentioned the royal photographer. We also have a partnership with Pol Roger Champagne, which was Winston Churchill's favorite champagne. So I can arrange beautiful little private tastings of Pol Roger, which then, again, the experts involved talk about Churchill a lot. So guests get to enjoy champagne, they get to hear about how it's made and all the insights, and learn about Churchill at the same time. I mentioned the classic cars, which is a fabulous thing to include as well. We work with very high-level historians and published authors who can take part in a beautiful afternoon tea, which I can arrange in a myriad of amazing places, including the Milestone, and a wonderful private members club that I'm a member of, and we can sort of enjoy this lavish, very British afternoon tea whilst listening to a royal historian giving us incredible insights, and of course signing copies of their books. So that's very special.
And the last time that I was with you with those advisors from Travel Edge, they really enjoyed the violinist and trying on those tiaras.
Well, that's it. So I do work with a heritage royal jeweler. I work with a couple of jewelers, but this jeweler in particular is very special because they've been responsible for many, many royal commissions of suites of jewels, the crown jewels as well. They're actually the creators of the actual crown jewels. By special arrangement and the relationship that I have with them, we can take guests into their private salon where they have archived tiaras, which guests can try on and sip champagne, and that's an amazing experience. And as Siobhan enjoyed earlier this year, I work with a virtuoso violinist who owns a Stradivarius violin. And that is something just absolutely once in a lifetime, because the gentleman talks about the provenance of the violin, plays on the Stradivarius for the guests, which you can imagine the sound is out of this world. And then, if the guests are very careful, they actually can have the opportunity to hold this. Last time I think it was valued at 4-5 million plus, rare violin, from the 1600s. So that's just one of the additional elements that can be included. We also offer equestrian experience. So if guests want to go to the polo or the racing, my amazing equestrian contacts can arrange for them to meet the jockeys, go into the stables, get all the insights of either polo or the racing event. So that's very special. I've just created the ultimate Ascot experience, which we're going to be offering for guests who want to enjoy Ascot next year. So that's going to be very unique. They can go to the thoroughbred farms prior to going to Ascot, and actually get onto the Ascot race course as well, you know, before it all kicks off. Royal enclosure, insights from jockeys and all of that. But the art experiences I've just recently expanded on and reconnected with a wonderful artist that I know who's just received an MBE, and he's going to be delighted to invite guests to his private art studio. So you can actually meet an artist, see him at work, and then the guests can have a go themselves, which is something lovely to do for children, but, you know, for adults as well, for people of all ages. So, you know, we are child friendly. There are a myriad of incredible experiences that we can pivot and adjust to make them suitable for children and very engaging for children as well. But as Siobhan mentioned, I think, you know, the real sweet spot is the family celebration, perhaps the multi-generational family that are doing the once in a lifetime kind of experience and journey, and also for the couples who are celebrating anniversaries or special birthdays, because these experiences can be incredibly romantic. And yeah, the private dining element as well is something that we do very, very well in stunning settings. Then
You have a night at the museum as well, don't you?
Exactly. So that's part of the art experiences offering. That's one of the most popular ones that we offer, where guests get to go to the National Gallery when it's closed to the public. And that is just it's the goosebump moment, you know. I've been many times accompanying my guests, and I still get the goosebumps. So, you know, just to be in that space after hours with nobody else around, then you can really get a far more intimate connection with all the artworks. It's really incredibly special. So that's something lovely to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, one other thing, Linda, like I know this sort of sounds not so happy, but like when people are sick, like we've had many requests for people say if they're, you know, they've got cancer and their partner or their family, you know, want to give them a special experience. You know, it's something they really, really enjoy as well. You do the Greater London area, not just London itself, but it is day trips. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we had more time, I could talk forever. But yeah, I mean, just some of the locations that we're delighted to take guests to outside of London would include Highclere Castle, Stonehenge, for example, for pre-opening visits there. And you get to walk in amongst the stones, you know, as the sun's rising. That's incredibly special. Places like Blenheim Palace, very much so, for private experiences there. Access to the private apartments and a private lunch. And then, you know, if budget allows, I can include a very high-level Churchill expert who's a member of the House of Lords and a Churchill historian to join us on that occasion. And we can even fly in by helicopter, which I have done before with some guests, and that was truly spectacular, absolutely amazing. So Hever Castle as well is a little bit of a hidden gem for a real Tudor experience, very, very special indeed. Chartwell, of course, Churchill's home for over 40 years. And then I have very rare access to Chequers Estate, which is the weekend, the country estate of the Prime Minister of the UK. So and it's completely closed to the public. So that's a very, very unique access indeed. And I mean, you'll find with many of our experiences, the things that we can arrange are sometimes so rare and so special that, you know, they're not going to be available for sort of for an eternity. You know, for example, my Bond experience used to include a private visit to Sotheby's, which I've delivered several times and it's been amazing, but that's no longer possible. So the guests who enjoyed that a few years ago had such a unique experience that can't be repeated. So we now offer an alternative to that, but it just kind of gives you an idea, gives you a sense that of the quality of what we do, and to be able to access it is unique because it's not always going to be possible to offer that. So
yeah,
it's very-
Linda, we have an expression in Adams and Butler. We always say we give privileged access to private places and people. So I think that sums up really what you can do. You can do stuff that no one else can do. And there is one other company that everyone thinks can do all this stuff. But to be honest, you know, it is possible that everything people want, anything of that ilk, you definitely can do it. And even if it's not something you offer at the moment, if there was something they particularly requested, you would be able to help create an experience for that particular desire.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Siobhan. And we're an incredibly creative business as well. So, you know, it's a constantly evolving process. So we're always adding new elements to the experiences. So yeah, so the creativity element is really key. And I think also the spirit with which everything is delivered. Incredible enthusiasm, incredible passion and dedication and attention to detail. And I think that's where Andrew and I really sort of sync up nicely, is that sort of authentic warmth and connecting with our guests that we love offering.
And all our clients have raved about all the experiences. So thanks a million, Linda. Thank you very
so
much.
Thank
And
you.
just to say to everyone, we will be sending out the brochure with all the experiences in it. I want to go over to Ashley before, like, just keeping an eye on the time, to Ashley, because we have to hear about Estelle Manor and what Gleneagles have got up to in England.
Hello.
So over to you, Ashley.
Hello, lovely to be here. Thank you for organising this. I have loved this webinar. I've learned so much. I said to my colleague, oh my gosh, you should see this hotel in Guernsey. My cousin's actually getting married there in August.
Oh, wow.
So that's exciting. And then, Andrew, congratulations on your nomination for Hotelier of the Year.
I actually voted for him.
Oh, well, I won't tell Connor. Connor, our managing director, is nominated too. So I won't tell Connor, but congratulations, Andrew. And yeah, and the One Aldwych is so beautiful. And Linda, I loved how you mentioned Blenheim Palace, which is the next door neighbour to Estelle Manor, which is our new baby sister hotel. So this is owned, we have the same owner, a man called Shiran Pazrisha and his wife Aisha, who brought Gleneagles back to life when they purchased it in 2015, created the Gleneagles Townhouse, then they opened a private members club in Mayfair, and then they took on a project in the Cotswolds, and this is where we have the beautiful Estelle Manor. So this is a hotel and country club located just 30 minutes from Oxford, 90 minutes from central London, and 80 minutes from Heathrow. And our next door neighbour is Blenheim Palace, so you're in a great neighbourhood. So please, if I can show you a whole video, which is about our, which shows our activities at the manor, then we can, now how do I share my video? You think after all these years we should be able to do it. Here we go.
If you go to share, just make sure you press the share audio and the video.
Okay.
I want to go back.
I'm going to stop sharing. Sorry, 1 second there. Sorry, my apologies. Here we
on
go.
the right hand side. Yep.
Can you
Got
tell
it.
us in the meantime, Ashley, how many bedrooms do you have there?
We have 108 bedrooms.
Oh, lovely.
Spread across the estate. Here we go. And I will play from current slide. 108 bedrooms, which are spread across the estate. And we also have these gorgeous cottages and houses as well. It's one of our little cottages, a 2-bedroom cottage. Very Scandinavian almost in style. And this shows you some of the estate with the amazing activities, great for families and couples as well, with falconry, foraging, horses and ponies, archery, axe throwing. There's a walled garden area where you see one of our restaurants. We have 3 restaurants on the estate. And this shows you the whole outdoor area. So we have 3 houses on the with 3 restaurants on the estate, as well as all of our bedrooms and activities. And this piece de la resistance is our beautiful Roman bathhouse, which I will share when we get a little video right here. So all you can see from the estate is greenery because of all the countryside that we're surrounded by. And this is Ancient Bath, which is our Roman-inspired bathhouse, which looks like it's been there for hundreds of years, but this is actually brand new. There's nothing else like this in the UK. We have 5 different areas at different temperatures. We have a tepidarium, a frigidarium, a calidarium, an outdoor breathwork pool, and a hay sauna as well. There's also a tea lounge in the bathhouse, so you can dine there during your treatments as well. The treatments are all based around ancient healing rituals, which are from India and Tibet. So this is a great stop, perhaps fly into Heathrow, come out to the manor, have a couple of days to decompress, recover from your jet lag, explore the countryside, Blenheim Palace, the beautiful cottages, the beautiful villages, do some antiquing, and then go into London and enjoy your time in London once you're over the jet lag. There we go. So that gives you an idea of what we're doing at the manor.
That's fantastic. It's really, really relaxing. And it's something, how, like, the clients that you're having at the moment, are they mainly American? From what countries are they coming?
It's very, very mixed. So it's a hotel and country club. So you have to be a resident or a member if you are visiting the hotel. So that means that you're very much mixing with locals when you come and stay. We've got a mixture of American, European, and domestic customers.
Fantastic. And do people, are they doing it as their English property? Are they doing it as an itinerary, do you know, of England with other places?
It tends to be an itinerary, so perhaps the countryside and London.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you could do the full UK with yourselves and do us and do Estelle Manor into London, then the train up to Edinburgh, night or 2 nights at Townhouse, and then up to Gleneagles.
So they get the best of both worlds. If they do Gleneagles, they do Edinburgh, and they do Estelle Manor. You've got your own little itinerary there going, which is good. But I think England is, one of the problems we always had with England is that a lot of people do London and they don't do outside of London, or they do day trips. So I think it's beautiful having these properties that are not too far away from London. So if people have done London in the past, they can actually come back to England and actually enjoy the countryside. So Estelle Manor is perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's real sort of Jane Austen country as well. When we were talking about books earlier, such a beautiful part of the world, so pretty.
And how many nights would you recommend for clients when they stay?
I suggest 2 to 3 nights when they're there at the manor.
Yeah, 2 to 3 nights, perfect. And do you have any other properties coming up since you've now branched into 2 new properties in such a short space of time?
I do, 100 years old at Gleneagles. Nothing happened for 99 years old, 99 years, and then we've gone for the hat trick. There's no plans at the moment. I think let's work with what we've got.
Yeah, fantastic. And we're hoping to do a FAM in Scotland in October that we're putting together. So we'll be sending out information on that as well. But thanks a million, Ashley. Any other activities or anything you can think of? Anything like a special theme besides the literature?
The literature. Culinary is a great, the artisan producers they've got in the Cotswolds, and then at the manor we have our brasserie, which is relaxed all day dining, and we have the glass house, which is very much farm to fork, with the veggies grown on the estate, and then we have our Chinese restaurant, which is really fun, not what you'd expect in the English countryside at all, so that's quite fun.
And would you suggest, Estelle, at the beginning of the Cotswolds tour if they were doing the Cotswolds, or at the end before they leave from Heathrow?
I think do it at the beginning, you know,
okay,
come in, relax. It's a great base to explore. You could go over to Bath, you can do all the sites all around the Cotswolds, and just kind of decompress a bit and get over the flights, so you can hit the ground running when you get into London.
And just to remind people how far you are from Gatwick in a point of time, sorry, from Heathrow in a point of time-wise.
80 minutes, 80
minutes. Because the one thing as well that people don't realise how close these country hotels are to Heathrow. You don't have to go back into London for that last night and, you know, fight traffic going in on the last night and fight traffic going out to Heathrow. So it's a good idea to stay in a property like Estelle Manor on the last night of the trip when they're touring England.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 3 different routes from Estelle Manor to Heathrow. So there's never a problem if a road is closed, which can be a problem some places. And also to think of it for any pre or post cruise going out of Southampton or Portsmouth, if they're maybe going over to the Channel Islands as well, then it's a good option.
And how far are you from the ports if people were looking at it for a shore excursion day?
It's about 1 hour 40 minutes.
1 hour 40 minutes, but still doable. Fantastic. And as you said, pre or post as well. That's brilliant. And will you be coming back to tell us about the townhouse on another occasion?
I would love to. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a million, Ashley.
Thanks so much. Thanks, guys.
So thank you to all our presenters today. We really, really appreciate it. Gio, when's the next? I'm actually in upstate New York at the moment. I'm not in Ireland. When's the next webinar we're doing?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for your dates.
Okay. So we'll keep people posted. I didn't know whether we had one coming up soon, but we'll keep people posted. And I say it'll be about 2 weeks or so. I'm back in Ireland for the whole of July, so it'll be easier to do the webinars when I'm based in the office. We have a few questions there I just want to look at. They're coming in on the questions and answers, so I don't know if everyone sees them. Doing the Cotswolds, I would highly suggest you either self-drive or you have a driver guide. James Ferguson, our regular Scot, has a message there for Ashley. And then would a tour coach of 12 to 15 meters long drive in or drop off nearest the manor? I'm sure there wouldn't be a problem. Can you answer that one, Ashley?
For the manor, yeah, we can look at that. Yeah, absolutely, for the coaching.
There wouldn't be a problem size-wise coming into
No. We can get down.
Where Gleneagles fly a tale of 2 lovely properties. Mind your manners at the manor, again from James. Ashley, can I get your contact details to set up a site visit in early September? That's from Reed Steely. Do you want to put your contact details there in the chat box, Ashley, for Reed? And then,
of course.
Fantastic webinar. Thank you for the impressive presentations. Feeling homesick for London. So that's all the question answered. So thanks a million, everyone. If you have any other questions, send them on to Geo, which is book@adamsandbutler.com. And for any sales inquiries, it's sales@adamsandbutler.com. And if you want to book any of those wonderful experiences with Linda as well for clients visiting, send us an email and we can arrange that for you. So I'm just going to put the email address sales@adamsandbutler.com there as well. And Ashley will type in her email address into the chat box for Reed as well for that site inspection. So thanks a million. Thanks, Alex from One Aldwych. Thank you to the Red Carnation team and to Linda and to Ashley for joining us, and see you in a few weeks. And thanks to you for organising everything in the background. Thanks a million.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.